Oh, on that same track of canceling classes, we this tip is about, so when do you stop offering it, right? Over the past year, I think one of the top things that I have taught to learn members about is to get rid of your dogs. And so as Brendan and Bill both said, if you continue to put out courses that are not making, there are several detriments to your program, right? We've already talked about a couple of them, but again, so it takes just as much time, and I get it, right? I get it. It feels like, copy paste. We read it last semester, let's copy and paste it to this semester. So I do get it in the midst of all of the other things that you all are doing with your programs. But the problem, again, is that it takes just as much time for your staff to copy and paste, to reach out to the instructor, to talk to the instructor about, what their schedule looks like, to get the packets ready, to create the CRN number in the system, right? All of this takes time. The other thing that people don't think about is when you run a class that should have been canceled a long time ago, you are also now wasting marketing space, right? And we all know the brochure is more expensive. It is not as cheap as that used to be, but you need to have one. And so now you have almost 3 pages of classes taking up space in your brochure that should have been canceled because you're like, just copy and paste it. I don't care if I cancel it later. But again, it has trickle down effects. And so if you are canceling a class twice, you need to go ahead and drop it, at least for 2 to 3 years, while you figure out what's going on, how to revamp it, how to, retitle it, whatever the case may be. If you're canceling it twice, the same class twice, you need to let it go. Use that marketing space for something else that is working. Use that marketing space to cut out pages in white space. I'll plug here, Learn does have articles about how to make your brochure cheaper. So again, there are detriments when you're running classes that you should have canceled. The other one that I recently had a conversation with a member about is other benchmarks that are impacted by this benchmark. Right. And so if you have a lot of classes on your roster that should have been canceled, right? So now let's say you got 100 classes, 20 of them probably should have been canceled, but you got 100. And so 100 is your number. And now you're using that 100 to calculate your 20% new. And then you feel overwhelmed because you are calculating 20% new on the wrong number. Right. So you are creating more classes than needed, which is causing you to feel overwhelmed because, again, that base number is including classes that should have been canceled. So I know that's probably as clear as mud, but we can talk about it more if you have questions. But the bottom line here, right, is that if you have classes that are not making, you need to cancel it. Stop putting it in your brochure. Stop spending marketing space on it, and stop letting it impact some of your other benchmark numbers that you need to be trying to make.